Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're going on a journey today. It's all about unlocking the power of spoken English. We're going to help you boost that fluency. So many tips out there. We're going to pinpoint exactly what you need. Looks like you gave us a fantastic episode of the Speak Smart podcast to deep dive into, and let me tell you, it's packed.
It really is packed with actionable advice.
Oh, yeah.
What I found really interesting is how the Speak Smart episode tackles this idea that you need perfect grammar, you need a massive vocabulary before you can even open your mouth and start speaking.
Right. Like they actually say in the episode, it's a lot more like learning to play an instrument.
Yeah.
You're not going to become a virtuoso if you don't actually practice playing the instrument.
No, absolutely not. You can know all the notes and chords, but that doesn't make you a musician. And knowing grammar rules, that's not going to make you a fluent speaker. You got to turn that passive knowledge into speaking ability.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Speak Smart episode really emphasizes daily practice. They make a really good point about how even short bursts can make a big difference.
For sure.
But they also have some tips that are maybe a little unconventional.
Yeah.
When I first saw the idea of talking to yourself, I'll admit I was a little skeptical.
I can see that. It might seem a little odd at first.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's a completely judgment-free zone where you can just get comfy. Forming those sentences and experimenting with pronunciation, you don't have to worry about making any mistakes.
Yeah, that's true. And they give some pretty good examples, like describing your morning routine or narrating while you're cooking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Speak Smart folks,
Yeah.
they highlight the psychological benefit of talking to yourself, which I thought was really interesting. They argue that the more you hear yourself speaking English, the more confident you become.
Yeah, you build this positive feedback loop. You get used to the sound of your own voice.
Yeah.
And it breaks down that initial fear. You start to feel more at ease.
I like that. Now, I know not everyone has a native English speaker just readily available to practice with. And the episode actually addresses this head on.
They do. And they make a really good point about this too.
Yeah.
Your language partner doesn't have to be a native speaker. They could be anyone who's learning English.
Oh, interesting.
The focus should be on that mutual support and practice.
So finding someone who's on the same journey.
Exactly. You're creating this collaborative environment where you can both benefit. You get that real-time feedback. You learn from each other's mistakes and you keep each other motivated. And they even offer some tips for how to find a language partner. They mention local conversation groups, online platforms, language exchange apps. I mean, there's a whole world out there to connect.
There really is. You know, one thing that really resonated with me from the episode was their perspective on making mistakes.
Yeah.
It's something that I think a lot of language learners struggle with.
It's almost universal, isn't it? That fear of getting it wrong really holds so many people back.
Yeah.
But the Speak Smart episode, they really brilliantly reframe mistakes as stepping stones to fluency.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. They encourage you to see them not as failures, but as opportunities for learning and growth.
I think that is such a powerful shift in perspective.
It really is.
And they argue that each mistake actually highlights an area where you can improve
Exactly.
and helps you refine your skills and move closer to your goals.
And they don't just tell you to embrace mistakes. They give you tangible ways to do it. They actually suggest keeping a mistake journal where you write down your errors and then figure out the correct way to say things.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah,
Turns it into an active learning experience rather than just a moment of frustration.
exactly.
And they even share an anecdote about how even native English speakers make mistakes.
Yeah,
You know, which just goes to show that language is this constantly evolving thing and nobody is perfect.
it humanizes the process. Yeah, takes the pressure off striving for this unrealistic perfection. You know, it's all about progress, not perfection. And, you know, speaking of progress, the Speak Smart episode, it dives into a whole treasure trove of practice techniques. Honestly, I was so impressed by the variety.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
They went beyond the typical advice. They got creative.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One that stood out to me was shadowing,
Oh, yeah?
you know, where you're basically mimicking the pronunciation and intonation of native speakers from like a podcast or a video.
Like you're trying to become their vocal double.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they give some tips on how to do it. They recommend starting with short audio clips and then gradually work your way up to longer pieces.
Oh.
And they also stress that it's a process.
Yeah.
It might feel a little awkward at first, But with consistent practice, you can start to internalize those sounds and rhythms.
So it's not just parroting the words.
Yeah.
It's really about understanding how they're formed.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the nuances.
Yeah.
Another technique they suggest is incorporating English into your existing hobbies.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Because that makes it feel less like a chore
Exactly.
and more like a natural part of your life.
Right. They give some examples like cooking while listening to an English cooking show or following a fitness video in English. Just finding ways to immerse yourself. That's that.
Without it feeling forced.
Okay. What about storytelling?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always loved a good story, and I can see how recounting experiences or making up stories in English can be a really fun way to practice.
Oh, it's so engaging.
Yeah.
It helps you work on your fluency, connecting ideas, expressing yourself more creatively.
Do they have any advice for people who might be intimidated by storytelling?
Yeah. They recommend starting small. Maybe describe a simple event or a funny anecdote. The key is to just start talking and see where it goes.
Yeah. Just get started.
Exactly. And they also suggest using visual aids, like pictures or objects as prompts, just to kind of spark those ideas.
Yeah. Having something concrete can really help.
Totally. Now, one thing I found particularly insightful was their emphasis on setting SMART goals.
Oh, right. That stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right.
So it helps you turn those vague aspirations into concrete actions. Yeah, exactly. Instead of just saying, I want to improve my English, a SMART goal might be something like, I want to be able to confidently hold a 5-minute conversation with a native speaker about my hobbies in 3 months.
That's so much more focused.
Right.
Gives you something tangible to work towards.
Exactly. And they also offer tips for tracking your progress.
Okay. How do you do that?
They recommend keeping a language learning journal.
Oh, like a diary.
Yeah. Yeah. You record your achievements, your challenges, your reflections.
A roadmap for your journey.
Exactly. And they also suggest recording yourself speaking, which can be a little daunting at first.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful to hear your progress over time.
I can imagine being surprised.
For sure.
Yeah.
And they also recommend setting mini challenges for yourself, just to kind of keep yourself motivated and engaged, like learning 5 new vocabulary words every day, or watching a short English video without subtitles. It's just little things,
Little wins. Break it down.
Yeah. One thing that really struck me throughout the whole episode was their genuine understanding of the emotional side of language learning.
Yeah. Because it can be challenging.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They really get that it's not always easy,
Absolutely.
You have those frustrations, that self-doubt, those moments when you just want to give up.
I've been there.
We've all been there. And instead of just glossing over those challenges, they offer practical advice for navigating them.
Okay. Like what?
Well, they emphasize being kind to yourself, celebrating those small victories,
Yeah.
and remembering why you started learning English in the first place.
Oh, that's so important. Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others.
Well, totally.
Or, feeling discouraged when you hit a plateau.
It happens. And they encourage listeners to shift their focus from perfection to progress.
I love that.
Yeah.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Embrace those mistakes as learning opportunities and find the joy in the journey.
The joy in the journey. I love that.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It really is.
And they also highlight the importance of seeking support when you need it.
Okay.
Whether that's from a language partner, a teacher, online resources. There's no shame in asking for help.
Yeah. It's actually a sign of strength and commitment to your journey.
Totally. Now, one of the recurring themes in the episode is the power of community.
Yeah. They're big believers in connecting with other learners.
Oh, huge. They talk about how joining a language group, either online or in person, can provide a sense of belonging, accountability, motivation. It's like having this built-in support system.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference.
It does.
To have people to share your experiences with.
Totally.
And people who understand your challenges.
For sure. And they also suggest finding ways to use your English in real-life situations, even if it feels a little scary.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like ordering food at a restaurant in English or striking up a conversation with someone at a cafe, just those little things. But you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And you're seeing those real world interactions as valuable practice opportunities.
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As we've been going through this advice from the Speak Smart podcast, I've realized something.
What's that? It's not just about the techniques. It's really about the mindset.
Yeah.
The Speak Smart episode, they emphasize the importance of taking action.
Right.
It's not enough to just listen or read.
Yeah.
You have to get out there and speak.
Yeah. They actually compare it to learning to swim.
Right.
You can read all the books, you can watch videos,
Right.
but until you get in that water, you're not going to become a swimmer.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
It's about taking that leap and trusting the process.
And they offer some really practical tips for getting started. One of my favorites is this idea of creating a Speak English challenge for yourself.
Okay. Like what?
It could be anything from committing to speaking English for 15 minutes every day,
Oh, okay.
or maybe setting a goal of having a conversation with a stranger in English once a week.
Oh, wow. So just making that conscious decision to incorporate it into your daily life.
Exactly. Even in small ways.
Yeah.
It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
So true.
Yeah.
And they also emphasize that every little bit counts. Even if you only have a few minutes, you can still make progress.
For sure. They suggest things like pronunciation drills while you're getting ready in the morning or listening to a podcast during your commute. Just finding those pockets of time.
I like that. And being patient with yourself too. Learning a language.
Yeah,
It takes time.
it does.
It takes effort. There will be some frustration along the way.
There will be bumps.
They encourage listeners to celebrate every milestone,
Yeah.
no matter how small.
Yeah.
You finally master a grammar point, or you have a conversation where you feel really understood.
Yes. Celebrate those wins.
Absolutely.
It's huge. And speaking of motivation, the Speak Smart episode, they have some really great advice on how to keep that momentum going.
Okay. How do you do that?
Well, they highlight the importance of finding what inspires you. For some people, it's that desire to travel the world, connect with people from different cultures. Maybe it's the dream of landing a job in an English-speaking country. Whatever it is,
Right.
hold on to that vision. Let it fuel you.
Like a North Star.
Exactly. And surround yourself with positive influences, whether it's joining that language learning community or listening to inspiring podcasts and audiobooks.
Yeah, creating that immersive environment.
Feed your mind with the sounds and rhythms, even when you're not actively studying.
Oh, that's interesting. And experimenting to find what works best for you,
Oh, for sure.
because there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all. It's about trying different techniques, adapt them to your own needs,
Yeah.
and have fun.
Have fun along the way.
Yeah, make it enjoyable.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Speak Smart podcast,
Yes.
what is the key takeaway?
The most important message is this: start speaking English today. Even if it's just a few words, even if you make mistakes, just start. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become, and the closer you'll get to your goals.
Love that. And remember, there's a whole world of support out there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out to other learners, teachers, online communities. You're not alone.
We're not alone. And as they remind us in the episode, learning a new language, it's an incredible gift.
It is.
It opens up doors, expands your horizons, connects you with the world in a whole new way.
I love that. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive
It does.
into the Speak Smart podcast episode.
Damn.
Hopefully you're feeling as inspired and motivated as I am
Me too.
to put this into action.
Absolutely.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It has.
And a reminder that fluency is within reach.
It is.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.